Hey, what's up, everybody? Izzy here, getting ready to jump into episode number 15 of another fucking podcast. DJ Will of KNAC fame. I call it KNAC, but apparently I was wrong. Will be in here, right here in the Hurt Locker, babbling at you, talking about himself, and he will be one of the celebrity hosts along with me on the Monsters of Rock cruise, which is next weekend. So this is going to be the last show until mid-April. So you know it's going to be a damn good one. We're going to get into his history because he's got a long rock and roll history out here in Los Angeles, California. And talk about the cruise and talk about music in general. I got a lot of, and probably talk about radio too. It should be a pretty fun little episode. Don't forget, check out Hairball, hairballonline.com. Go out and see them, support their show. They sell out almost everywhere they go, so you can get your tickets right there at hairballonline.com. April 5th. Well, actually, March 29th, Rochester, Minnesota at the Graham Arena. April 5th at Sartell, Minnesota. Burnix Arena, April 12th in Mitchell, South Dakota at the infamous Corn Palace, and Bemidji on April 18th at the Sanford Center, and Fridley, April 19th at GB Layton's Pickle Park. I call it Pickle Fuckers, fun little venue. Check out rockstarleatherworks.com. I'm wearing my watch right now, handcrafted leather gear. Leather bands and watches, very cool stuff. You will absolutely love their stuff. rockstarleatherworks.com. You're going to buy one and you're going to want to buy more because you're going to be so happy with not only the service, but most importantly, the product. And don't forget, if you want to support the show, I've decided to start feeding my guests now, so it's going to cost me a little bit more money. So feel free to send me money. PayPal, TELWELL72 at gmail.com. TELWELL72 at gmail.com. If you just want to listen and not pay, hey, that's cool. That's great. I'm just glad you're here. But if you want to send some money, feel free. $1 a month, $5 a month. If all 100 of my listeners sent in $10 a month, that would be like $1,000. Or if everybody sent in $100 a month, that would be even glorious. I'm just kidding. Just listen and enjoy. But if you want to contribute, feel free. TELWELL72 at gmail.com is the PayPal account. And it is time to bust into another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of another fucking podcast. It is good to be back. It is good to see you, and as always, good to be seeing Izzy Presley here. Taking you on through special guest in studio right here in the Hurt Locker. Please welcome, might I say, the Eddie Trunk of the West Coast.
With a darker complexion.
Yeah, with a better tan, longer hair, and a more agile body, I guess I could say. DJ Will.
What's up?
Welcome to the Hurt Locker.
Well, Izzy, it is a pleasure to be here. I thank you for having me.
Dude, it's a pleasure to have you here. I mean, we're here to talk a lot about the Monsters of Rock cruise. You are, of course, one of the celebrity hosts, along with Eddie Trunk and Luke Carl. And
Nikki
Black and
Harlan
from the Monsters of Rock show. And Big John is going to be in the house again, or on the boat, I should say.
Big John.
And this is your first chance. This is your first excursion on the Monsters cruise. What's going through your head? I'm sure you've heard a lot about it already.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to sort of live and listen vicariously through the artists that were on my show in the last several weeks. I had Jason McMaster of Dangerous Toys, Roxy from Vixen, Russ from Killer Dwarves, Danny Vaughn from Taiketo, and Stevie Rochelle of Tough, and each one of them just sort of relayed their experiences and, what a good time I'm going to have. And I basically equate, and this is kind of what I said to everyone in the last several weeks, I equate the Monsters of Rock cruise to being a gigantic rock and roll, heavy metal high school reunion. Over 3,000 heavy metal maniacs, and we're gonna have a good time. But it will be overwhelming because this will be my second ever cruise, my first ever with Monsters of Rock.
You are going to be warped. You're never going to want to go on a different cruise again. My first cruise was the first Monsters cruise, and it's like I can never go on a regular cruise now after this just because of the experience that it is. I just like to call it a shit show at sea because that's pretty much what it is. Is there anybody on the boat that you haven't seen?
Well, being in Los Angeles, being in any major mecca city, at least here in the States, it's easy to get spoiled because a lot of these groups do route their tours through, here in town. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of groups I have not seen in many, many years. First being Taiketo. They're the first band that comes to mind. Killer Dwarfs have been another group in a long time. Loudness has been another one.
Loudness!
I hope they make it. There's been a lot of issues with the visas and stuff as of late, but I hope that's going to be all sorted out by the time we set sail another week. So, but overall, the bands like like Rat and Cinderella and Y&T and Tesla, they've all come through Los Angeles.
Right.
So I've seen them time and time again. So believe me, I'm looking forward to seeing them again because it's all part of the allure, all part of the atmosphere that I can't wait to soak up. So just a handful of groups I haven't seen in a long time.
Did you get a chance to see the Winery Dogs when they're in town?
Yes, I did. They played the Canyon Club last year, and it was probably some of their first early shows, and it was really good. It was a packed house, and then the general consensus with everyone I spoke to was they are looking forward to seeing the Winery Dogs because just with the one album really under their belt, with I think a Japanese release that came out recently, DVD and whatnot, I think a lot of people are looking forward to this particular project. So cool.
Yeah, I saw them in Vegas actually. I think it was the night after.
Vamped, right?
Yeah, it vamped, and yeah, another thing, the place was fucking packed.
Yeah.
And just, I'm watching with my jaw on the ground. It's like, God, this is fucking amazing. Actually, I'm kind of stoked to see Red Dragon Cartel again.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're going to be part of the cruise. I'm also glad that the the situation with the singer,
yes,
Darren, has been sorted out. And situation, I mean their unfortunate
whiskey
debut that did not go over well.
Right. And
he's already owned up to it. It's already been addressed. It's been blasted all over line, from Metal Sludge to other websites. It's like, the singer's horrible and he was drinking and he screwed up the lyrics. Like, okay, we get it. What's done is done. Onward and upward. But I'm just glad Jake is back in the mix. Because since Badlands, he's done a few solo albums, but this new project, Red Dragon Cartel, has a lot of promise. So the main thing with all these bands playing too, and I don't know if you're going to talk about this later on, but it's the scheduling. Because I know there's going to be times where there's going to be a lot of staggering involved. So this is the new ship, it's a floating city, and everyone who's been on the Monsters of Rock cruise the past 2 times, how much ground there is to cover.
Yes.
So depending on if it's by the pool stage or the Pantheon stage or what have you, it's like get those schedules, master them, be on top of them, because there's going to be times where you don't want to miss a band because you may not get to them the second time around.
Right.
I'm just glad that all the acts this time all the acts are going to be playing twice. My question for you is, did they do that last 2 years?
Yes, absolutely. And it made it a lot easier to know, okay, I can go see Y&T on the pool stage, which is, I don't know what this ship is set up like, but on the last ship, we were able to watch Y&T from the whirlpool. And
nice.
Actually, I did that the first 2 years, and it was fucking amazing. It was great.
Right.
So, yeah, that's cool. The one thing that, if you're a newbie to this, you have to remember is in the theater, you're not allowed to drink in the theater. That's the way it was on the last boat, so I'm assuming that's what it's like on this boat. So plan ahead for that.
Good chance they may enforce it, but a word to the wise, there's a term called hooch. And there's also another word called flask. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, they don't frisk you when you walk in, but what was I going to say? Yeah, the Red Dragon Cartel. I had a chance to catch them at NAMM when they did that show in Anaheim at the what's that place called right outside Angel Stadium?
The Grove of Anaheim.
The Grove, yeah, and
yeah.
Just I know I've talked about this before, but just to calm any nerves about the Red Dragon Cartel, they're fucking amazing. Yeah, that singer fucking nailed it. He's great. So that whiskey show was absolutely just kind of a little bump in the road, I guess you could say. So now I want to get into you a little bit though too, because I don't know a lot about you. I know you were in the Anvil movie for a split second.
Yeah, 2.5 hour interview whittled down to 43 seconds of glory. So
yeah. Now you've been in radio. How long have you been in radio?
Radio going on 14 years with KNAC.com, and I do a show there called The Vault on Sunday. So that's been good. Now this is the .com era.
Right.
KNAC, when it was 105.5 during the pure rock phase from 1986 to 1995. At that time, I was doing the whole record company weasel aspect at that point. But going on 14 years now on KNAC.
And you said you were part of a record company too at one point?
Yeah, 5 years at Metal Blade Records in the early 80s, and then moved over to Capitol for another 3. And then they sort of moved regimes at around 93, and then that was that. But it was a good experience all around. I would never take that back because I learned so much working behind the scenes. Everything from radio, marketing, retail, everything that it took to break bands or whatever it took to be involved from a project from start to finish. I had my hand in just about everything, so it was great. But I mean, there was a lot of lows too. Right. Bands I wanted to sign and couldn't, and budgets and lack of touring or lack of tour support, lack of a lot of things. But Metal Blade and Capitol really taught me a lot.
Now, the way the record industry is now, I know it's kind of on a tinge of a downward slope, I guess you could say.
You could say that, yes.
Do you think that one of the problems is that they're not trying to build for longevity?
That's one aspect of it. There's a lot of instant gratification where, and I'm not just talking about, let's say, the boy bands and all that, the Voice and American Idol type of, let's find talent that way, give them a record deal and put them out on the road. What I see from the labels that, well, there's so few far in between.
Yeah.
But there just seems to be more of, let's find something already self-sufficient, put it out, hope it sells, and if it doesn't, we move on to the next thing. I don't see a lot of artist development. That's one thing that the labels did, my recollection, in the 90s. And with so few far labels, the downsizing and consolidation has gone on for such a long time. And I mean, it's case in point. Here's an example. I always cite this as an example. Here's 4 labels that had their own identity and own buildings back in the day. And right now they're all housed in Burbank, California. That's Warner Brothers, Elektra, Atlantic, and Rhino. All in one building. So that tells you there's a little sign of the times right there. But, whatever A&R departments exist, and in full disclosure, believe me, I'm fully aware that Metal Blade Records and Century Media, Nuclear Blast, Roadrunner, all these labels are still out there, still viable, still functioning, but all of those rosters are 99.9% heavy metal, which is good. That's
absolutely.
I mean, obviously, I support that, and I play bands from all those labels on my show. But with what's going on, I see very little artist development that labels will get behind, and it's unfortunate.
I mean, why do you think that is?
No interest in putting in the time.
Okay.
The time to either find a band manager, find them an agent, develop the songs. It's not so songwriter driven now. I mean, maybe it is for pop and country and other different music genres, but I'm sort of thinking in rock terms.
Right.
It's like when I mentioned instant gratification, it's just like, well, let's find something out there that's a quick fix. Who's hot on YouTube, or who's got a buzz out there that we can just sort of latch onto and get a digital download out of that, and then let's milk that for all it's worth. And believe me, if anyone who's listening to this and you work at a record label, or you worked at a record label back then, and you did artist development like A&M Records did, and there's a few others that don't come to mind right now, but I don't know who would take time to throw down from their budget, $5,000-$6,000, put a band in studio, have them crank out a demo, and try to shop it. I don't know what labels pay for bands to do demos anymore. If it goes on, I don't know anything about it. I just think bands are more self-sufficient these days. It's sort of a do-it-yourself work ethics. It's the old punk rock ethics. Do for self. Don't wait to get signed. Don't wait for the A&R guy to fly in to catch you in your rehearsal garage. But I just think that the artist development, that craft is gone. That was a huge part of developing songs, developing the band.
Right.
Because they don't do their. I mean, the bands that just a lot of these up and coming acts. They haven't done the road work. They haven't cut their teeth out. They haven't really haven't paid their dues with what it means to get out there, hustle, bust your ass, and promote yourself. Mm-hmm. Rather than like, well, we got signed, and here's a $250,000 budget to do this record, and here's all this money that we're going to put in the bank, and it's like, I don't know how any of that goes on anymore. Big budgets out the door, big name producers out the door, giving them 2 points on a record or paying them $100,000-$200,000. If it's out there, I'd be shocked.
What don't you think it would be in the label's best interest to do that kind of stuff, though?
To do
the artist development and all that kind of stuff, because
you would think because if you're going to sign a band and you're thinking long term, or if you're going to sign a band to, let's say, a long term deal, 3, 5, 7 year contract, it would be beneficial to develop them, watch them grow, and see that there's going to be a band in 5-10 years down the line. Yeah, I just think that's, when in A&R terms, it's always you're as good as your last signing.
Right.
So it's like, well, I don't know. It's like maybe somewhere it shifted. I would say in the last 8 or 9 years, maybe that mentality has shifted where, well, we're going to sign this band, and I'm going to stick with this one band for the rest of my employment here at this label. No. It's a constant hustle. Go out to the clubs, go out to the conventions, word of mouth, now use social media, go seek out who's hot and what have you. But you've got to keep churning out acts. You've got to keep putting out product. That's what drives, the money train at the labels.
How much do you think home recording has had an effect on it?
Massive. A lot.
You think it's a good thing or a bad thing, though?
It's a double-edged sword. When you talk about going in any studio and whatever they charge per day to pay an engineer, producer, someone can bust out an old Fostex and old 4-track Fostex, and bust out a studio quality recording. Turn out, making their own CD, put it up online now. Put out 3 or 4 song demo on their own website, or one of these webs, not Kickstarter. Those sites where bands put up their own material I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but
like Reverb Nation and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? If I'm listening to this, it's like, hey, this is really good, good quality. It's like, I don't know if it was in a $3,000 a day studio. It was probably good enough for them to put it up, people to check out and enjoy. So home recording has cut all of that in half. I think that was actually one thing that was addressed in the Sound City movie, whereas that beautiful board that was used in Sound City, Van Nuys, California, is now at Dave Grohl's studio.
Yeah.
And if anyone has seen that movie, see it again and again and again. It's highly recommended, but that was addressed why Sound City gradually sort of went by the wayside, because there was less and less record companies bringing bands in and having bands in there for months at a time in studio lockouts. If a band's locked at the studio for a month plus, that's a good income flow for the studio.
Absolutely.
And most studios, there's other studios, you're cutting commercials, you're cutting jingles, voiceovers, but recording months on end, it might still go on, but home recording, good quality home recording equipment, good quality mics, cut out the middleman.
Right. And I think my thing about home recording too is this computer makes it so damn easy.
Yeah.
People are rolling on Pro Tools and being able to fix everything. And I think, in my mentality too, I think that takes away a lot of the musicianship too, because you're getting a lot of people that might not be the greatest musicians or singers, and they're able to fix everything.
Yeah.
With the touch of a button. And I just don't know if there's a lot of talent out there.
Well, there's talent.
Well, right.
There's talent out there, but boy, that quick fix of Pro Tools, man, it's just a couple of clicks away, and for what is someone who's really flat can sound picture perfect next minute later.
Well, it's like, you look back, in the history and, like the 50s and the 60s, in the 70s, it's like a lot of these pro musicians, it's like they had one shot. They had one shot, and if you didn't get it, you're done. You're fucked. These guys would go in and just crank it out like that. One shot with a lot of times with one microphone in the room, and it just doesn't seem like there's that quality of musician out there. I don't know. That's just kind of my feeling on it. I don't know.
There's some good bands. There's some good music out there. Maybe what's not getting to the cream of the crop, it's just because they haven't played out as much, or they don't have as much exposure in their particular part of their town. But just using social media, that's really the key. Getting your live your live shows posted up for the world to see, as opposed to slapping together a cassette tape, then a CD, putting it in an envelope, a black and white 8x10, a one sheet bio, and mailing it to X label and hope for the best. It's obviously it's a different world now, but those bands are out there. It's just a matter of exposure.
Right. And this is another thing too. I'm an ex-radio guy, and you're an ex-radio. You're still in radio online.
Almost barely.
Almost barely. How much do you think radio is to blame for this too?
Oh, get me started on that. I'm gonna have to just give you the Cliff Notes first. In full disclosure, I realize anything I say at this point may contradict being part of KNAC, but the one thing with KNAC, it's a pure rock format. So we know what we play, we stick to it, and that's the stream 24/7. Program directors on terrestrial radio, it's real cookie cutter. You could take the same 40, 50 songs, put them in a loop. Those classic rock stations, it doesn't matter what town you're in, they almost all follow the same format. And the PDs are sort of adherent to advertisers. and whatever demographics that they follow, the 18 to 34 and all that, it's just like that's what they have to do. But man, that's why just the world of internet and satellite and that has opened up just a whole different Pandora's box of variety, different variations, and so much to choose from, as opposed to just the classic rock station, just the alternative station, just the postmodern, just the active rock stuff. Most rock stations stick to a really stringent format, and it hasn't changed in a long time. I mean, there might be a few specialty shows from time to time, and then there are, and I'm not talking college radio,
right? Just with like under the covers.
Exactly, but man, that's a. I never got into that, and there's a reason why. So
see, I feel lucky though for working at Rock and 101 for those couple of years, because we were a locally owned. It wasn't Clear Channel. It wasn't Town Square. It wasn't one of these fucking moguls that are part of the problem. And it was still a constant fight. I mean, I had a little leeway. I mean, there's a lot of jocks out there. If they change a song, they're fired. They're done. That's it.
Yeah, you stray off course, PD's on your ass and saying, hey, what was that? And it doesn't matter if it was a deep cut or not. It's just like, here's a play this at the top of the hour. It's just like, wow, to try to be adventurous, to try to be a maverick, to try to like do a little something different. You would better be really established or have a really strong fan base or heavy listenership to pull something like that. KLOS had a jock, Jim Ladd, for a number of years, and he recently got cut loose, and and I think now he's with Satellite. But he had his moment in the sun where he could do that and get away with it, but there's so few folks that can do that still.
One of the things that I did get in trouble for every time I would get Knocking on Heaven's Door from Guns N' Roses, the studio version. Okay. We had the live version from the Rich show, so I would swap that out.
Okay.
And I think that's the version that people want to hear. It's more raw. It's cooler. I did a little online poll on my own Facebook thing, and it was all live version, and all of a sudden the live version was locked. I couldn't put it in anymore.
You were denied.
I was denied, and it's just I think a part of terrestrial radio too is just the fucking repetition. It's the same 3 Bon Jovi songs. It's the same 3 Skid Row, all the songs, from the same record, over and over.
Led Zeppelin, Boston, Van Halen, fucking Styx, and on and on.
Well, yeah, and then fucking Van Halen when that new record came out,
which was pretty damn good.
It was pretty damn good. It's like, oh hey, the new record's out. Here's the brand new song, which I think I was the first jock in the nation to play Tattoo. I think I got it before everybody else. Ooh, but
not a good single. But that's
it's just I don't think it fit with the record. It kind of sounded more like a Dave solo song than the rest of the record. I don't think it's a bad song, but as a single, I agree. But then you got like the next single, She's the Woman, and then what keeps coming up? Oh, Ain't Talking About Love Again. Same over and over and over. It's like you got this great material, this great new material from these bands, but you can't play it.
And that is a big reason, that is a big proponent as to why a lot of these heritage acts are hesitant to actually go in the studio, record new material, because you know what, at the end of the day, it won't get support from radio.
Right.
I'll say 5 bands off the top of my head that put out new albums and they couldn't get arrested on radio as far as really playing the singles or just playing and supporting it in rotation. Deep Purple, Van Halen, Black Sabbath, even though it did well and it won awards, I didn't hear God. It should have been whittled down to like 4 or 5 minutes, but God Is Dead was the single. I didn't hear that on a regular rotation. It's just everyone's stuck with Paranoid, War Pigs, or Heaven and Hell. Kiss, and let's see.
As much as I was not a fan of the Monster record, the lead track was pretty fucking good.
Modern Day Delilah.
Modern Day Delilah. Actually, I thought it sounded a lot like it came off Asylum. It kind of had that feel to it. I guess just my little thing, but yeah, and that we played it a couple times, and then all right, here's Lick It Up.
Yeah, I know. And Rush is another man off the top of my head. They all pull out fairly solid releases, but look, all those bands have deep catalogs. Technically, when we go to the shows, we do want to hear the hits.
Oh, absolutely.
And they'll throw in a couple of new songs, which unfortunately are sometimes called the bathroom break tracks. Right. Because the reason is no one's they're here to see the concert. They're not familiar with the songs because they haven't heard it.
Exactly, because fucking radio won't play them.
Fuck, it's like it's horrible. So, just the whole aspect of the lack of radio support. There's a big reason why. It's just because it's just stagnant. It's real stagnant. That's why having options like internet, like satellite, and you know what? Forget the radio in your car. That's why there's a CD player. That's why you can make your own home mixes and make your own music that way. I mean, I tend to listen to radio for talk radio purposes.
Hey, me too.
And sports, but the occasional flip to say, hey, well, what's doing, or let's hear someone's cadence, or who's on. Just from time to time, I'll flip it on, but it's still the same set list.
Well, and I think a lot of it is like people aren't allowed to be radio personalities anymore.
Yeah,
because it's just like, here's your 6-second break, and that's it. It's like you don't really have a chance to build your personality, and build a listenership based on your personality. All right, that was the latest from Bon Jovi. All right, not obviously not the latest, not the latest from Bon Jovi, but all right, here's a brand new Avenged Sevenfold. Here's Nickelback.
All right.
Yeah,
just stations. Just putting the clamps down on jocks. Unless you're doing a back sack and ass crack in the morning. If you're doing like a morning radio show, that's a different aspect.
Right.
But there's, I don't know. It's just it just seems that it's like this station follows a certain protocol.
Yeah.
You have to get with the program. If you detour from that, you will hit the bricks. And the personality. It's basically the interaction with the audience. I think I believe the way to sort of make that connection is think of the guy and the gal who in their car, they're listening to you. So what you do and say, you want to speak to just that person and let them feel that they're with you and you're with them on the ride to work. Because I think that's a big part of it too. While you're playing music, it's the front cell, the back cell, however your flow is. It really depends on what stations will, the top brass at all these stations, which one of them will allow for freedom to sort of do your own thing. That's probably a lost art.
Oh, I absolutely agree, and I don't know. I mean, if people would want to get into radio now at this point, do you think it's still a viable career choice?
I'll plead the fifth on that. I do a show. What reason I do it is labor of love.
Right.
Because I get to play not only my music, but I get to play music that already fits within our format of hard rock and heavy metal. So that's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. If I had to be in a situation where I had to sprinkle in loads of modern rock acts or pop acts, then I have to hit the eject button on that because it's not my forte. Right. And I'm not going to fake it and it's like, all right, coming up next, we got Five for Fighting. I don't have a flow for that. But give me any hard rock, heavy metal act, no problem.
Yeah. And so and that's the beauty of it. I actually haven't listened to your show yet.
How dare you?
Too busy listening to podcasts. Can't help it. But and watching porn on the thing. But anyways, that's another story.
That's a bandwidth suck.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, that's the beauty is though you have the luxury of being able to play the new Anthrax.
Right.
You know, play this kind of stuff that you're just not going to fucking hear anywhere. And it's what's the website again?
It is knac.com. And again, my show is The Vault. It's on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. 3 hours of power, speed, and thrash. And every now and then I'll throw your curveball with the occasional interview of bands from that genre. But the main thing I did this month was a lot of Monsters of Rock acts.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I'm going to throw a song on really quick, then we'll come right back and talk a little bit more Monsters of Rock before we make Like a Tree and get the fuck out of here. This is Slow Children, Minneapolis band, and this song is called... Whoa, wait a minute. This is what I'm doing. I forgot. They covered... this is a heavy metal version of Like a Virgin by Slow Children.
Oh,
enjoy.
My goodness.
Slow Children, Like a Virgin.
I don't know, Izzy.
Come on, it fucking rocks. I'm sorry.
It was interesting. For a first-time listen, it was interesting. If you're going to do a cover, make it your own. Be creative. Give it a few more bells and whistles. But, I don't know if...
You're just not a fan of the song.
No.
All right, see, there you go.
I'm being truthful. I'm just...
I've heard metal versions of like pop songs that I hated that I actually ended up liking.
There's lots of them, I mean,
I know.
Fear Factory did Cars by Gary Newman. That one comes to mind. Disturbed did Land of Confusion by Genesis. Those are pretty decent, pretty heavy, but I don't get into a habit of playing covers. But hey, this is your podcast.
That's
Do your
right.
thing.
That's right. It's
expecting
another fucking podcast. It's my fucking show. Deal with it. Monsters of Rock Cruise coming up we're less than a week out. You're getting into town on Wednesday, correct?
Getting into town, Fort Lauderdale first for a couple of days, and heading down to Miami on Friday, and I'll probably check out some of those pre-parties and soak up the rays down there, and hang out with all the fans of that genre.
Well, soak up some rays because you obviously need a tan.
Ba-dum-bum.
So what? Now you're what are you hosting on the boat?
Well, where I'm going to be located predominantly is going to be the indoor-outdoor pool, which will be good because I'm actually hearing there might be some rain, some tropical rain action at some point during the cruise. So if I'm going to be at the indoor-outdoor pool, come on inside and stay dry. There will also be a Pretty in Pink prom night theme. I think that'll take place on Monday, and I may be doing something with the Stand Up and Shout, the Dio, This Is Your Life release party.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was just recently added. Also be doing the Naughty Pajama Party.
Yes, and I won't be able to see that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be overlapping that. So for that though, I'm wondering, what do you think, Izzy? A lot of power ballads, a lot of sexy songs.
Well, I think the power ballads, I think that's better for the prom.
Well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute because I'm conflicted about that theme. I'll tell you why in a minute. But okay, the pajama party. When Luke Harrell, I guess, did it last time. What exactly was played during the pajama party?
I don't know. I didn't have a chance to go there.
No?
No, I was either drunk or
wearing that frickin' mankini
once, and I was sober when I wore that. By the way.
Ugh.
Dude, that was fucking great.
Bleach.
It was awesome.
Bleach. Meet the eyes.
There is this great photo of me standing there on the pool deck in all my glory, and you see off to the side John Corabi sitting in the pool with this look on his face. That's golden. Great. And I don't know how I'm gonna top it this year.
Please don't.
Oh, I don't know. I think I kind of want to now. I think it's almost expected that people are like, "You gonna wear it again this year?" I'm like, "No, I can't wear it again." It's like, fuck, you got to hear Rock and Roll Night every time you go to a Kiss show. Of course you do.
You're Izzy Presley. Bust out the sideburns. Bust out the fucking the jumpsuit.
The jumpsuit was there.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. See, this was the whole production. I walked out of my room, and I had the two girls from the radio station with me, holding my scarves. And I walked I planned it out so it was the day that we were at sea, so everybody had to be on the boat.
Okay.
And it was high noon, and Femme Fatale was on the pool deck stage.
Okay.
And I walked all the way through the boat, handing out scarves to the girls, and I'm like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And I'm walking through the crowd, and then I walk around the pool, and everybody's like, "Hey, Elvis, huh?" Then I get up on the deck, right next to the water. Then the girls come up and strip off the jumpsuit.
Nice.
And there's the mankini, and that's when all the cameras came out. The cheers started. And then I started posing and jumped in and got out of the pool just like in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And
man. You are a brave soul. I'll tell you that much. You are a brave soul.
There was some tucking involved
And shrinkage.
Well, the mankini was 2 sizes too small. So imagine my starfish didn't.
La 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 la.
Exactly. Too Moving on. That. Moving on. Where were we?
We're talking about where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the plan. The first day, Saturday, definitely about an hour and a half, hour and 15 at the indoor-outdoor pool, and then later on the Naughty Night PJ party later that night. and then the let's see, probably be at the outdoor pool again, and then the Pretty in Pink theme.
The prom, yes, and you were going to talk about.
I'm I'm wondering, and it'll be interesting to see what the consensus is. Now, I'm planning on 2 playlists, and I'm bringing as much music as possible. In keeping with the theme, because it is Pretty in Pink, a movie that came out in 1986,
yes,
which was predominantly new wave bands.
True.
Well, I have the soundtrack. Let me rephrase that. I have access to the soundtrack to bring. So my thought process is, if you're going to do the prom, the Pretty in Pink prom, I believe you want to hear songs from that era.
I would agree, and I think this is the thing, is that crowd knows those songs because they all grew up on that, because they're all our age.
So, in full disclosure, I will go that route for however long that's needed. Bring a big new wave playlist, but as a metal DJ,
yes,
I do it under protests. No.
So the second part of the playlist would be Guar.
I don't know.
Here's the closing song, The Last Dance, Guar, Sick of You.
That would be interesting. That might clear the floor. I've had a few I've had a few dance floor clearing songs before.
Have you ever cleared an entire room though? I have.
Almost. And the floor I'm talking about, it would just mainly be the Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Right, yeah, because you're the Friday and Saturday night DJ.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday night, where it was just me mixing the music and for everyone to come up and dance and hang out. But there are times where there's a bunch of regulars, and I know those regulars want to hear a few more harder edge tinge selections, and that's fine. But if there's no girls there, I'll take care of them. But there are times where around midnight. At some point I'm gonna start to switch gears. You're gonna hear Guns N' Roses, you're gonna hear Cinderella, you're gonna hear AC/DC and Skid Row and Van Halen and so on and so forth. So it's like more danceable tracks. I gotta somehow segue out of Sepultura and Slayer and Death Angel and Nasty Savage and Omen and Lizzie Borden. So it's a flow. It's like, just read the crowd, figure it out, and at some point I'll get a, hey, can you play 18 in Life? It's just like, okay, that once I get that, then I say, okay, maybe I didn't take a peek about 5 minutes ago. As soon as I get that request, that tells me that, okay, the ladies have arrived, or
yes,
the rock crowd has arrived. So, okay, here we go. Pour some sugar on me. Here we go, Scorpions. Rock You Like a Hurricane. On and on and on and on. So I'm thinking, Izzy, I'm gonna go with the flow, and I'm fine with being part of the Pretty Pink prom. So don't get me wrong, but I will say this: if you're ever gonna hire me for your events, know what you're getting up front, because if you want if you want to get a wedding DJ, or if you want to get someone that strictly is pop and techno hip hop, you go after people in those genres.
Right.
Granted, it doesn't take much to put together playlists in those areas, but that's not my forte. Mm-hmm. I'm really all about sticking to my guns, and whole Monsters of Rock cruise is perfect. It's
exactly
all the bands I play every single week as it is, and a great opportunity to see them all perform all these songs live. So with a Pretty in Pink prom, I believe that will be the plan until I get some type of flow and, hey, can you play more ballads? Or so I'm just gonna go with it and see what happens. But boy, it's gonna be interesting, because I'm gonna have to actually bust out Oingo Boingo, Devo, X, orchestral maneuvers in the dark. So scritty polity.
OMD, holy OMD reference. Nice work.
Yeah, so
I've got all that shit if you need it.
All right, well, we'll talk. We'll talk.
Are you gonna bust out at this moment though, Billy Vera?
I could.
I think you should.
All right.
Come on, Alex and Ellen's theme from Family Ties. I mean, that's the shit right there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I cleared out a room. I was
yeah. Tell me about what you played and what was the atmosphere? What was the environment?
I was bartending at the Press Bar, and it was Thanksgiving night, and it was packed. And Thursday nights at the Press was always DJ night.
Okay.
So not my
random DJ night.
Hip hop, techno, that kind of DJ.
Okay.
So I was not really in my element. I'm like, dude, just give me one song. The last song of the night, just give me one song. And it actually kind of worked in my favor when I busted out the Copacabana. Because this is my theory on the Copacabana. If you can't have fun with the Copacabana, you just don't know how to have fun. I mean, that's just the way it is. The minute that song started, it was closing time, everybody left.
But that's not an offensive song. See, I thought
it's not.
I thought you were to give me like you went like hardcore Celtic Frost or Deicide.
No.
Okay.
But I also did Sunday. Well, I always bartended on Sunday nights, and so I didn't have to listen to the jukebox. I would DJ while I worked.
All right.
And I started out doing 80s night, and that did well for about a year or so. Then just Sunday nights died, so I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna switch to rock and roll Sunday nights. And every time somebody requested rap or hip hop, I would play acoustic winger. And it got to be a thing now. Every time I got the request, I would get on the mic. This would happen 3 times a night, 4 times a night. I just got a request for a rap. What time is it now? That all the pool players, it's acoustic winger time. And here we go, the acoustic version of Miles Away.
Oh, that is a riot.
Oh, it was fucking beautiful. It was great.
But let me ask you a question. Okay, you get a request like that. You do a 180. You play some acoustic winger. What happens to the patrons that make those requests? Do they come back say, "Hey, dude, what the f?" or do they throw something at you?
No, I did have a picture thrown at me once, but that's a whole different story. But I'll get into that in a second. But no, everybody was usually cool about it. It's like, dude, it's rock night, man. So if they wanted rap, I would play like "I'm the Man" or "Bass, how low can you go?"
Public Enemy and Anthrax.
Anthrax, yes.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise. Thank you very much. That was like as rappy as I got, but it was a Sunday afternoon. I was working, and I was watching the behind the music for I can't remember who it was, and then all of a sudden it was right after Lisa Left Eye Lopez died, and I said, "Well, I don't want to watch this," so I changed the channel, and there was this black lady sitting at the bar. Just got a pitcher of beer. And she's like, and there's only one TV in the bar at this time.
Okay.
And of course, this was right after Lane Staley died too. And she's like, "Why y'all gotta be changing that?" I go, "Look, as soon as I see a special for Lane Staley, maybe I'll consider leaving this on." She threw her pitcher of beer at me and walked out the door.
He said, "It's like, that's someone with a short fuse, man. I hope you ducked."
Oh, I did.
That's funny.
I did. It was fucking grandiose.
You missed me, bitch. It's like that guy that threw a shoe at President Bush.
Oh, that's right.
He probably
Who throws a shoe?
But that's that culture,
right?
Like,
absolutely.
The bottom of your shoes. It's disrespectful. So that's why that when they were toppling the Saddam Hussein statue, they were taking their shoes and smacking the statue because in that culture it's a disrespectful thing to do that. So that's why that I think it was a journalist, and he hurled it, and Bush ducked. He's like, still has his athletic abilities, but interesting. The only time there's been times I've sort of read the crowd wrong, and maybe end of the night I maybe played a little too much industrial. Maybe I left on too much KMFDM or Nine Inch Nails or just something that went on too long or a little too more, just too much in your face, and it was like a mix. I don't know. It was like a mix. It was like Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, Cold Chamber, and then I went into something really. Oh, I know what it was. I know exactly what it was. Einstürzende Neubauten. and it was like a Kraftwerk into a Rammstein song, and I sort of did like a little German mix. I was just trying to do, I was doing a German mix. So it was like, yeah, with Rammstein, Kraftwerk, and then into a Eins zu sein Neubauten track. And if anyone's, and Leibach. If you're into any of these bands, then you know what they sound like. But Leibach, it was Leibach, that's who it was. Okay. Leibach did a re-recording of Let It Be by the Beatles. Speaking of cover songs. Yes. They did a whole Beatles album in their whole style. One after 909, and hey, I thought it was going to fly, and I put it on, and more people weren't having it. So it was just like, I heard a lot of, and then people were slowly dispersing. So, I brought them back around. I probably threw in Journey, Don't Stop Believing. I'm like, hey, we know this one. But I think that's the most recent recollection I can remember that I did.
I am going to pull rank here on our Gong Show Karaoke. So if you're listening and you're trying to think about entering the contest, which is Gong Show Karaoke on the Monsters of Rock cruise, if you sing Don't Stop Believing, you will get gonged.
Right off the top?
Right off the top. I hear those first opening notes. I will pull the gong. I will do it.
You know what? I would love to have you handy for when I get into this Pour Some Sugar on Me, Welcome to the Jungle,
Talk Dirty to Me.
Yeah, just it's the playing part that, look, I don't mind it, but there are times where, boy, I would just love to just not play this tonight. You just have those moments. You just have those times where I'm like, am I going to phone it in? Is there enough people here that are really into this tonight? How about I just sort of throw in a Saxon track and see how that flies? But, boy, I wish I could have you handy for the nights where I don't have to play that. Sister Christian. Oh, there's another.
I love Night Ranger. I do not like Sister Christian.
I'll tell you what, though, I loved it in Boogie Nights. In the context it was in, yes, it works.
Was that in the Roller Girl couch scene?
No, Sister Christian was in the sequence where they go visit the drug dealer.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
And the drug dealer has this houseboy who keeps throwing these firecrackers, and it made things extra intense and intensified. Where the main characters are just freaking out because they're trying to get out of the place, knowing that the coke that they brought is bad, wrong, and it's a really intense scene. Albert. Oh, I can't think of his name. Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina played the drug dealer. He was actually the Eddie Nash character in that movie. Eddie Nash was the owner of the Starwood. The Starwood, he's coming after you.
I know.
The Starwood Club on San Vicente and Santa Monica, and that was the basis of his character. But that scene, he loved that song, and when he's acting it out, he's getting really into it. He goes, Motorhead. He's doing all these body movements while the houseboy is snapping these firecrackers, and everyone, I can't remember the character's name. They're all coked out on the chair, just freaking out, and it's an Oscar-winning scene. It's in my opinion, it should have won. He should have won the Best Supporting Actor in just that role. Much like Alec Baldwin should have won an Oscar for his role in Glenn Ross. But Sister Christian, when used properly, no problem.
Yes. See, when I was doing that Rock and Roll Sunday Nights thing, I always had, it was these three songs that went together every fucking time. I would do Tough, American Hairband.
Love playing that. No, I love playing that.
But I always see, because the last part of that is everybody, let's play Talk Dirty to Me. Then I would, boom, that's where I'd start Talk Dirty to Me.
Okay.
And then meld in Pour Some Sugar on Me, just because they went together. If I played Tough American Hairband, I had to play Talk Dirty to Me at the very end of it just for the segue. But
I'll give you a tip, and this is what I use. Give it a try, see if it works. The way American Hairband starts out, obviously, for those of you that aren't familiar with the song, it's basically Sad But True by Metallica, but taken off from Kid Rock,
right.
American Badass. So the whole context of the song, Stevie is mentioning all these bands. He goes, he we went platinum 0 times. And he's riffing off of American Badass, it was great, it was ingenious, and it's still part of the live set. So the whole first part where he's name dropping all these bands. Remember the chorus of shout, shout.
Yep.
Give it a try before that quiet part goes and goes, yeah, I saw you with your grunge band. Before you get to that part, just when you get to you keep hearing the shout, shout, blend it with shout at the devil. Just when the beginning of Shout at the Devil starts and just goes shout, shout, then shout, down, down. If you can match the BPMs, you can just come right into Shout at the Devil, and then boom, pop that post, baby.
And then go back into.
You can, or just finish out with Shout at the Devil, because when you get that fast part, then you can come back to American Hairband, but you have to come back to the part where he goes, Twisted Sister. What do you want to do with your life? Or I just come back into I am an American Hairband. So just a few things that, I just sort of mess around with.
That sounds complicated to me.
No, I don't think it is.
The other two songs that I always love putting together were Got the Time and
the Anthrax version or Joe Jett?
The Anthrax version into Megadeth Anarchy, just because they just flow. I think it ends on the same note that Anarchy starts on, so it's like beautiful little segue.
Right on.
What else do we got here? Shit, we're over an hour.
Over an hour already.
We're over an hour. I say we wrap this sumbitch up. You know what? I think I might have to play American Hairband.
Yeah, now that I've sort of set it up.
I know. It's like you said, it's just fucking brilliant. It is great. I love it. Stevie will be thankful, and he'll probably get his props from the YouTube advertising. I would hope so.
Good chance of that.
Absolutely good. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, Izzy, thank you for having me here on your wonderful podcast.
Another fucking podcast.
I don't curse. I try not to curse. I'm going to say another freaking podcast.
Or another effing podcast.
Hey, yeah, there's no FCC rules or regulations here. There's no FCC rules or regulations on KNEC, but with me, it's just like, I just, anecdotal stories, say what's going on in my life, say what's going on at the shows and concerts that I've gone to, but, it's just like, I don't get into, like, swear because I can. Try to keep it clean.
I just swear because I do.
You're Izzy.
I'm Izzy fucking Presley. That's just what I do. Before we wrap out of here, don't forget to check out Rockstar Leatherworks. I am wearing my watch right now that I got from them based off the 68 Comeback Special. RockstarLeatherworks.com. That, of course, would be Elvis. This is the watch that he wore.
Thank you very much.
RockstarLeatherworks.com. Check out Hairball, hairballonline.com. And my other proteges, I should say, my other clients. I am now working with Three Sides of the Coin, Kiss podcast, and their other podcast, Drop the Needle. Nice. And I'm actually going to be sitting in on that Dropping the Needle a couple times too. So check all that stuff out. Hit me up, Izzy at IzzyPresleyProductions.com. Will, how can they get a hold of you if they need to?
My website, metaldjwill.com, or simply just go to knec.com. Again, my show is on Sundays, again, from 10 to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, hey, if you want to email me, thevault at knec.com. And for you pure rockers going on the cruise, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you wherever you are, wherever you're coming from in the world on the Monsters of Rock cruise. My first, for some of you, it'll be your second and third time.
And how long until Under the Covers appears on knec.com?
Let me get my calendar out. We'll have to get you on at a future date, Izzy. I think turnabout is fair play, and that would be fine, absolutely. So I appreciate it. And again, it's going to be looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, absolutely,
in less than a week. I mean, we're going to be 3,000 miles away on a floating city. Like I said, with a bunch of heavy metal maniacs. And just going to look forward to having fun and look forward to saying goodbye to proper sleep.
Oh, God. Just, get ready.
Like Slaughter.
Just get ready.
All night.
I know the funny thing is, before the first one, when Eddie Trunk announced that he was going to be hosting on that first one, he's going to be with us again this year. I think Slash tweeted at him and goes, "Oh my God, I can imagine the bodily fluids are going to be exchanged during those days." But so yeah, that's DJ Will. And again, you can hit me at izzypresleyproductions.com. Check out my website, izzypresleyproductions.com. Hit me up on the Twitter, as Chris Jericho likes to say, Izzy_Presley. Are you on the Twitter?
Yes, at DJ Will, KNAC, or at Metal DJ Will.
So you got two. You have two to deal with.
Yeah, the DJ Will one is the main one that I have, and I just figured, well, Metal DJ Will. If I'm going to be consistent, I might as well secure that because it's my Facebook page, it's my website, and then Twitter as well. So there you go. And this is to not take away from all the other Metal DJ Wills, but there's so many DJ Wills. It's not a big stretch. That's my name. Right. It just happened. It's just like, all right, let's just stick with that. So. Yeah, don't be confused with the DJ Will and who does the Tejano music or the hip hop in New York City. This is the guy who plays heavy metal.
Yes, people who actually play instruments.
Yeah,
and sing.
Exactly,
and they don't have to use auto-tune for the most part that we know of.
This would be a good time for a drop, like a Kanye West drop.
Oh,
auto-tune.
No.
Douche.
How about no? All right, I'm going to make like a tree and get the fuck out of here. This has been another fucking podcast, episode number 15. DJ Will at my side for this one. And I will see you all in 2 weeks because not only will be on the Monsters of Rock cruise, hosting the karaoke and hosting the
indoor-outdoor pool.
The Monster Kiss Jam.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. We're going to be busting out some Kiss songs for, I think we're going to go over a couple hours. Cannot wait for that. And then also be doing the karaoke thing on the Moody Blues cruise, which is right after that. And the Prague cruise, which is, Cruise to the Edge.
Man, you're going for the trifecta, Izzy.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that boat for 2 weeks.
Didn't realize that.
Oh,
I hope you do pack accordingly, and there's a laundry place to do laundry at some point.
Yeah, no doubt. Be wearing the same underwear for a Commando, baby. Here is Tough American Hairband. I will see you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I do love you all.
Yeah, well, I've been up and down, town to town with several bands. Been tortured for 10 long years by critics, agents, and the A&R man, and some bandwagon fans. It's time to stand up, fight back, be proud, and once again be free. So if you want a piece of me, come and get it. Kurt Cobain is gone, but I'm back wearing leather pants and a backwards hat. Guitar slung low where the down boys go. The night train's back, so on with the show. A metal hill, then dressed to thrill. I'm an SMF with the looks to kill. I rocked and rolled and long hair is back. And I grew up singing Strutter and Back in Black. I'm going back to 89. I went platinum 0 times. You're in the jungle, sweet child of mine. I want another piece of that cherry pie. Pie, 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 pie. The color hairband, leather jacket and black. Throw your hands in the air, yeah, we're bringing it back. And say, show, show. At the devil again and say, show, show. At the devil, my friends, and say, show, show. Never letting it in and say, show, 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 show. Yeah. Bad medicine. I cope inhaling and Hanoi rocks. Black and blue and Britney Fox. Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue. When Def Leppard rocked and Skid Row ruled. Yeah. Rat went round and round. Rocking out in Boston, getting loud in Chi-Town. Vandenberg, Grease, Duck and Kick. Throwing Foster Pussycat in the mix. Give me LA Guns and the Dangerous Toys. Wyatt Riot, Bang Tango and Bullet Boy. Love Johnny Crash, grunge bands are trash. I like CC to Bill, Mick Mars and Slash. Slash, 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 slash. Hairbands wearing leather and black. Throw your hands in the air, yeah, we're bringing it back. And say, show, show. At the devil again and say, show, show. At the devil, my friends, and say, show, show. Never letting it in and say, show, 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 show. Yow. Yeah, I saw your grunge band staring at your shoes on stage, wearing that dirty flannel shirt. When you gonna learn, dirtball? You just can't fuck with Twisted Sister? What do you wanna do with your life? I'm an American hairband. Watch me rock. You can raise your hands and you can suck my cock. Heavy metal god, I'm a pinup boy. I'm the singer from Tough, not Pretty Boy Floyd. Super loud and super wild. Sebastian Bach is you thought wild. Diamond Dave and Nikki Sale. Wanna see Tommy Lee back spinning those sticks. Up all night, gonna sleep all day. I love girls, 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 and I love LA. I won't waste my breath, but here's a clue.